And when you were doing the sales, were you doing door to door? Were you doing, because you already had a pretty, because you worked in restaurants, you must have had a already good network and stuff like that where you could sell to existing restaurants around the Montreal area, I would guess.
Yeah, I knew a lot of people in the restaurant industry, but like the people I knew, like for example, Nora Gray, okay? Like I would bring them a case of sauce, but like they're a fucking Italian restaurant. Like they're not, the chef's never going to use it on a dish, right? Because she's going to just make her own and it's going to be better. And then they leave it at the bar. So like for a Bloody Caesar or whatever, like people would use it. Then like Joe Beef started serving it on their oysters, which was like big because they do a ton of oysters. And also at the time they were like considered like top restaurant in Canada. Yeah. You know what I mean? So people were coming, you know, from all walks of life. Like
when they were serving the oysters with the smoke show, would you see the smoke show brand, or was it just like in a little ramekin? They would
they put it on the fucking bottle, not like our friends at Loic who put it in a bullshit little container. And I'm like, yo, put it in the bottle, you know? Like people steal the bottles. I'm like, dude, who cares? Anyways, so I'm just goofing around, but
half goofing around.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's the restaurant like industry really like helped me. And then Mandy's, like getting into Mandy's, that changed everything. You want to hear a crazy fucking story?
Yes, because I'm pissed right now. Just a little side note, when I go to Mandy's now, recently I always go to the one on Sources. The salads are great and the service is always fantastic, so I don't want to say it's bad service or anything like that, but I used to love adding smoke show to I get the same salad every single time. I get the endless summer, and I used to love adding smoke show to it. They don't have smoke show anymore.
What?
Bro, they do not have smoke show anymore.
Like in the kitchen or for sale or both?
Definitely not in the kitchen, or they're lying to me.
I'm calling fucking Kelsey Hobbs, bro. I'm calling Kelsey Hobbs.
So because I used to and now they're giving me sriracha. It's not the same. I don't want sriracha.
Are you serious? They're giving you sriracha?
I'm dead serious.
Okay,
and bro, I don't go there once a month. I'm there like 1 to 3 times a week.
I'm gonna fix this, guys.
Okay.
Okay. So crazy story. Okay, this is this is how I closed Mandy's. Okay, so at the time I had left briefly. Joe Beef, Max, our friend Max, opened Majestic.
Boy.
Yeah, he opened Majestic on Saint Laurent. He hired me to shuck oysters, and at the time I was like peddling sauce on the weekends. I would make sauce, and actually Majestic started buying it and serving it on their oysters. So Lisa, who owns Nora Gray, comes in with Rebecca, who owns Mandy's. Okay, got it. She's Mandy's sister. Yeah, and they have the oysters. Blah blah blah.
Okay, there's a lot of names. I'm not good with names.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Cool. But just the owner of Nora Gray and the Mandy's owner.
Yeah, like two very legit business owners come in, and I'm just like just serving them and shucking oysters. Yeah, and I was really feeling sick. Okay, I was like feverish. I got begged to come in to work that shift, and I was like, okay, like fine, I'll come in. I was like really sick, and I knew Lisa, and she introduces me to Rebecca, and they have the oysters, and Rebecca asked me, she goes, "Oh, I hear you make this hot sauce." Yeah, I was like, yeah. She goes, "Okay, well, I own Mandy's." I had no idea. I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. She's like, "We'd love to we're looking for a good hot sauce. Like, can you bring us a case on Monday?" This was a Thursday. I'm like, yeah, no problem. That weekend, I'm still feeling very sick. I go home back to my parents' place because like that's where the smoker was, and I have to make the sauce because I got to bring a case to the Mandy's on Crescent downtown. I'm not even joking. I'm like making the sauce, and I'm so sick, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm feverish. Everything's hurting. All fucked up. Okay.
Can you get like germs and viruses into sauce?
No, you can't. And anyways, I was like boiling it. I was safe. Don't ask me about how my the
quality control. I don't know about
back
that.
Back then,
Dave.
It was I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I make some sauce for the next week's delivery, and then she told me to bring it in on Monday. Okay, so Monday morning I wake up and I'm like in a pool of sweat. Okay, ugh. I have like night sweats. I'm like fucked up. Yeah. Still so sick. And I'd literally just been like fueling myself on Dayquil all day, like just drinking out of the bottle, just, 1 foot in front of the other, whatever. Like this will go. I end up I decide Monday. So like one block over from Mandy's on Crescent is my GP, my doctor. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go see my doctor. Maybe I'll get some medicine and then I'll go deliver this case to Mandy's right after. Like it was like next door. So I go to the doctor, and he's like a family friend, and he like listens to my lungs. He goes, your lungs sound a bit fucked up. Like, can you go upstairs and get a chest X-ray? So I'm like, yeah, okay, like no problem. So I go upstairs. To like the X-ray place. I get a X-ray, and I come back down, and he comes back in the room, and again, this is like a family friend of ours. The guy is like pale. He like looks very uneasy, and I'm like Charlie, what's up? He like sits down, and he showed me an X-ray of my heart, of my chest that I had done like a few months prior for some other shit, and then he shows me the one I just took. My heart was like swollen, like it was like 3 times the size. Okay, it was like a huge black circle on the X-ray.
So this is a problem.
This is and there's fluid in my lungs. So this
God.
is a fucking huge problem.
It's like you need to go to the emergency
room. He's like, did you drive here or do I call an ambulance? Like, which one is it? And I was like, no, like I'll just drive. He's like, go immediately right now to the ER. He wrote some shit on a piece of paper. He's like, don't wait in line. Don't do anything. Show them this paper. They're going to take you right in. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm literally freaking out.
Okay.
I end up getting rushed to the hospital, or I rush myself to the hospital, and they take me in. The lady, like the nurses take me in right away. They strap me up to like an EKG to like measure my heart rate and shit. And super unprofessional of them. They were like 2 nurses. They look at each other and they go like, "Oh my god!" Like they whisper, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'll never forget it. They're like, "Stay here." They like bring me into a room. Head cardiologist comes in, and then he starts asking me like all these crazy questions.
Yeah.
And
throughout this time, are you just thinking about, "Fuck, I gotta get that box of hot sauce to Mandy's"?
Yeah. So it was still in my car, right?
Yeah.
So they start asking me all this shit about my health, and they're asking me like, you know, do you inject drugs? And like, do you have unprotected? Like, they're asking me the fucking HIV questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, I don't have fucking HIV. Okay, like, what is going on here? They're like, your heart is completely swollen. There's fluid in your lungs. Like, these symptoms are like often happen. No. Anyways. I don't have HIV, nor did I ever. But I ended up having to stay a week in the hospital. They had to drain the fluid from my heart. They blamed it on a viral infection. Okay. I'm posted up in the hospital for a week. My sister comes to see me. My whole family thinks I'm dead. Okay. And my sister comes to see me, and she's like, "Hey, Dave, is there anything I can do for you? Anything you need?" And I'm like,
you're like, "Yes, there is."
I tell her, I'm like on my on the passenger seat of my car, parked in the parking lot at the hospital. There's a case of hot sauce. I need you to bring it to Mandy's like right now. She's like, "What the fuck?"
And we're still Monday.
This is still Monday? Same day.
Okay,
of course.
Monday.
Yeah. And they got it. So my sister brought it. Shout out my sister who now works for me. And
there you go.
And turns out, so I get out of the hospital a week. I go to Florida. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm taking a week off. I need to relax. I'm going to go to Florida. Come back from Florida. Get a call from infectious diseases at the Jewish. Okay. Because I was being followed by a cardiologist.
Yeah.
I get a call from the head of infectious diseases. I'm like, what the fuck? Turns out I had fucking tuberculosis.
Jesus Christ.
I contracted tuberculosis. A fucking Victorian era bullshit disease that no one gets.
Isn't tuberculosis, it's a bacteria or a virus?
I think it's both. Bacterial infection. I don't even know.
It's a virus. It's a virus. The laptop today. Okay.
It's a viral.
Yeah. It's viral.
It's viral, and it attacked my heart. It developed around my heart.
Jesus.
So it was called pericardial tuberculosis, and what happened was all this fluid started accumulating around my heart. They told me that had I not gone to the hospital, I would have been dead in 6 days. My like resting heart rate was like 180 BPM. Yeah, it was crazy. I told that story to like Mandy.
6 days, like from the Monday, or 6 days from
that day. They're like, you had 6 days, like that was it.
I get you must have been feeling like a total piece of shit to like have gone, because usually if you're sick Thursday, by the Monday, typically speaking, your symptoms should be improving if it's like a regular cold.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I guess, and you still felt like shit. So you're like, okay, something's up. I need to go get.
And like, not to sound like an absolute cliche entrepreneur, but like my business was like, I was getting really good feedback. Like orders were coming in. You know, that would never happen. Like usually I would go pitch someone. They'd say like, bring me a case. Now I'm getting calls. People are like, hey, we need more. Can you bring us more? You know, like a recurring business. I was like, oh my God, like this is it. Like it's slowly starting. So I was just like, this'll go. So I just I toughed it out until I couldn't anymore.
Yeah.